Welcome back to Narcissism Freedom, or if this is your first time here, thank you for being led to this space of clarity, truth, and healing. This channel is a place where we hold space for those who have experienced the invisible wounds of narcissistic abuse and are on a journey to reclaim their spiritual authority, their voice, and their peace. In today's video, we're going to look at something that's been rising like wildfire across the internet, especially on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. The topic is not only timely, it's urgent. We're talking about the explosion of content around narcissistic abuse on social media. What started as a necessary dialogue for awareness has turned into a digital spectacle, a trend, a hashtag-driven movement that may be doing more harm than good. This video is titled NarcTok Nation: How Social Media Turned Narcissistic Abuse into a Trend, and what it's costing us. Let's take a moment to ground ourselves in truth. Scripture reminds us in Proverbs 4 verse 7, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding." That's what we seek today, not just information or validation, but deeper understanding. Social media has become a mirror of society's inner wounds. On one hand, it has given a voice to survivors who may have never had a safe space to speak. On the other, it has turned the raw and deeply painful experience of narcissistic abuse into a trending topic, sometimes stripped of its depth, distorted into entertainment, or worse, monetized for clicks and likes. Platforms like TikTok have seen an explosion of creators using terms like narc, gaslighting, and love bombing in short videos that go viral. While some of these videos come from survivors sharing their truth and offering helpful insight, many more are simplified, overgeneralized, and shared without context. This has led to a kind of fast food psychology, a flood of content that may feel validating in the moment, but doesn't necessarily lead to healing. And in some cases, it re-traumatizes, misguides, or even silences the very people it claims to support. What's more, the overuse and misapplication of terms can minimize the actual severity of narcissistic abuse. When everyone is calling someone a narcissist, an ex, a parent, a coworker, without fully understanding the clinical or spiritual nature of the disorder, we risk turning a real mental and emotional crisis into a buzzword. That dilution of language makes it harder for true survivors to be believed and for their stories to stand out in a sea of performative content. And here lies the deeper cost. Survivors begin to doubt themselves again. They scroll through TikTok and think, "That doesn't look like what I went through." Or, "Maybe I'm making this up." When something so sacred, so devastating, so life-altering gets turned into a meme, survivors start to question the validity of their own experience. And when the conversation is hijacked by people who haven't done the healing work or who use trauma for clout, it cheapens the collective narrative. We were never meant to consume pain like entertainment. We were meant to process it, honor it, and heal through it. The constant influx of trauma talk on social media can also keep us stuck in the energy of the abuser. Instead of moving forward, many people stay in a loop, watching video after video that rehashes what the narcissist did, how they think, how they manipulate. While awareness is the first step, healing requires something deeper: spiritual transformation. Romans 12 verse 2 reminds us, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." That's what true healing after narcissistic abuse looks like. It's not just reposting a quote or learning new terminology. It's unlearning the lies they told you about yourself. It's reconnecting with the God within you. It's rebuilding your sense of worth, not through likes, follows, or content, but through divine truth. And as you do this, you begin to see clearly. You recognize how the algorithms are designed to keep you emotionally engaged, not spiritually free. They thrive off your outrage, your heartbreak, your need for closure. But freedom doesn't come from knowing more about the narcissist. It comes from returning to who you were before the trauma, before the manipulation, before the distortion of your identity. It comes from recentering your life around peace, purpose, and presence. So if you've been feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of narcissism content online, if you felt triggered or confused or like you're not healing fast enough, I want you to take a breath and come back to center. You don't have to keep watching in order to be valid. You don't have to keep proving you were hurt. God knows. Your soul knows. And that's enough. Some of you may be called to step away from the noise of social media altogether for a season, to detox your spirit from comparison, chaos, and content that leaves you feeling more broken than before. That's not weakness, it's wisdom. It's discernment. You are allowed to choose peace over performance. You are allowed to honor your healing in private without having to explain or educate anyone else. And if you're someone who creates content or shares your story online, I encourage you to do it from a place of wholeness, not wounding. Speak from the scar, not the open cut. Let your light guide others without needing to relive the darkness over and over. Because healing is sacred, and it should never be reduced to a trend. In this time of collective awakening, we must be intentional about the spaces we give our attention to. We must ask ourselves, is this drawing me closer to truth or deeper into confusion? Is this feeding my soul or draining it? You have the right to be informed, but you also have the right to be free. Let social media be a tool for awakening, not a trap for addiction. Let it serve your healing, not hijack it. As you move forward, keep your eyes on the bigger picture. God is still writing your story, and the chapter ahead is not defined by the trauma behind you. It is shaped by your willingness to heal, to grow, and to trust again. You are not a trend. You are a temple, and your healing matters more than algorithms, opinions, or statistics. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message resonated, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to the Narcissism Freedom channel. Your support helps amplify voices that are speaking truth in a time of noise and confusion. And if you feel led to support the growth and awareness of this healing space, the details are below in the description. Until next time, may you continue to rise, to reclaim your light, and to walk boldly in the freedom that can never be taken from you.